Here we go, here we go. Wait and see FC. Here we go, here we go. What go on, Giddy Army? What go on, Therapy Army? Like Alicia says, we're on Giddy Watch. So let's watch the people who are getting a bit too giddy. Big up to every one of you, man. Big up to every one of you. How many of you have watched the breakdown last night when we broke it down by the time scales? We broke it down forensically last night, people. Big up to every one of you, man. Big up to every one of you who watched the video last night, man. Pogba Lingardinho video. How we all doing, man? Tom, if you're out there, I've sent you the link, man. Jump on. Big up, Tom. Big up, Alicia. Therapy Army. We're right. Unfortunately, Danny, who's supposed to be on tonight, is having problems with his internet, so we'll see if he jumps on. If not, we'll do the show. Big up Nurin. Who's this Andy O'Bell person? That's what I'm talking about. On Rest Talks Football, man. Big up, bro. Yeah. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, people. How are we doing? Wait and see FC. That's us, mate. We are the wait and see FC. Before anybody gets giddy. Man. Seriously, I've been seeing people like nobody's broke it down like we did last night on the show. Us and me and Therapy Army together, we broke it down. Time scale, forensic look at the reason, all the fallouts from Pogba to Lingardinho to how the club is run. We broke it all down for you last night. We did an hour and a half show. So please, after you watch this now tonight, go and check out the stream because trust me, I did a lot of research. A lot of things went into that video and I did it solo. So come on, people. Come on. If you want more deep dive videos, streams, let me know. But big up, man. Tom, where are you, Tom? Let's be having you, lad. I've sent you the link, lad. What's going on? I've sent you the link, lad. So where are you, Tom? Where are you? How are we doing, people? How are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing, people? How are we doing? How are we feeling, eh? Jubilee weekend. No Jubilee weekend around here, mate. That's not getting kidding. We're not doing Jubilee. All we saying is, after Jubilee, feed the poor. Feed the poor. That's the message from the Therapy Army. Forget Jubilee. Feed the poor. Big up to everybody who's getting 2 days of work, man. Paid. Those of you who are getting paid holiday, big up. A lot of people in this country don't get paid holiday. Loads of people in this country don't get paid holiday. So big up to them people, man. Yes, brother. Yes, King. How you doing? How are the children?
Sorry, I'm late, man. It's good.
Forget about you, late, man. Listen, I'm just listen. Neil Ashton is always at the works, bro. Neil Ashton is always at it.
Kids are good, man. Kids are in bed. Got the evening free, man. We can chop this up, man.
Yeah, man. It's love. It's love. So people are asking, who's this Andy Boyle? Anyway, those of you who don't know, man, special guest, my brother, who's always mashing people up in it. Oh, honestly, he's got.
My broadband's never down. Don't know what happened. So this is definitely Neil Ashton at work. Definitely Neil Ashton at work.
So that's what I'm saying to you. People don't want to do these videos, innit? Neil Ashton's messing with Danny. This is Danny, people. Devil in the detail. Those of you who don't know, brother's always on the spaces, educating the masses, innit? That's what he is. That's what his job. His number one job is to educate them.
Oh, mashing you up. Mashing you up. That's who I'd be mashing up.
Listen, it's always a spa. It's always a spa, brother. But welcome, Danny. Love, brother. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, we're gonna get into it, people. We're gonna get into
educating you, Nuruddin. That's the number one job.
No chance, bro. No chance. You know my agenda. My number one agenda is what? Glazers out, bankers out. Yeah, man. How are you, bro? How was your day? You having a good day?
I am. How's the lag? Because my is it coming through? Are we in time? Are we in sync?
I think we are a little bit out. Do you want to jump out and then try again? Sometimes when you switch the phone up, it works.
No, I don't think that's going to make a... Nah, it's not going to make a difference because, like I said, my Wi-Fi went down. What I'll
Actually,
just
you're a lot
wait in
better
it.
now. Actually, you know what?
I
You're a lot
figured it
better
out.
now. Yeah, yeah. You're a lot better now, bro. Can you
No, I
hear me?
realized if I just wait a few seconds, then
Okay,
yeah, I
wicked.
can hear you.
Wicked, bro. Wicked. Wicked. How you doing, bro? You good? Family good?
Yeah, no, family's good, man. I'm good.
Yeah. Jubilee, you're on the Jubilee train?
Listen, I don't even want to go there, man. I don't want to. Don't put that target on my back. Let's not even go there, man.
I just told
I
them.
don't want that drama, man.
Yeah, I'm happy for the people. Listen, Dan, I'm happy for the people who got 2 days off in it. Those who are on who have got holiday pay, who are got 2 days off. You know what I mean? So big up to those people. But a lot of people in this country don't have that. They don't have that holiday pay, man. They don't have the holiday pay. So big up to those people, innit? Big up to those people. Some people don't have the holiday pay.
Nuruddin, the people that are saying that the lag is mad, so I'm gonna leave and come back because they're saying the lag is crazy.
Okay. Cool.
Now it's in time. You heard that straight away. What's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
exactly. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, nah. Now it's in time.
Now
All right,
it's
let's not
in
jinx
time.
it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's not
So,
jinx it. It's gonna be like this for the
people
rest.
want to know who's Andy Blood Murder She Wrote Boyle, and this is one of the things. So Manchester United have hired Andy O'Boyle, who was working at the Premier League, but his CV is really interesting. CV, Dan. My guy was at United to begin with, left United, did a bit of lecturing in sports science, went to Wrexham, you know what I mean? Then went to find his way to Liverpool, and then found himself at the Premier League. Premier League performance, talent ID. You know what I mean? All of these beautiful words. But my guy is here to come and basically work at United. So he was at United, went to Liverpool. He was a fitness coach. A lot of the things what I look at when I look at his CV is a lot of fitness, sports science lecturing, coaching. He's done all of this, and he's now here. As I think we're the only football club that officially hired somebody to do, because obviously Man United is always big news in it. When we hire, once we hire one person, it has to catch fire. So his job is deputy director of football, and he's going to be working closely and under Danny's boy, Mr. Murta. Big up Felipe Abi, by the way. But talk to me, bro, because the role, a lot of people are like, well, what's going on? Why is the role? You know what I mean? Why is the role like this? What is it that a deputy director of football does? But get into it, bro.
So you made that joke there when Man United do something, it's big news. So we do this, and it's like it seems like, oh, what is this? What is this, bro? Brighton have a number 2. Liverpool have a number 2 deputy director. Do you know what it is, Nuruddin? I just realized that our fan base actually just don't, unless you give them a star name with a winning project, that everyone can just say this is. Do you get what I'm saying? This is what this guy is. This director of football. He did this. Then they're not interested. Like there's different structures. There's different ways to do this. It may not be everybody's preference. Look, the preference is get rid of the Glazers, get a Van der Sar, etc. Or a Morata from Inter, who was obviously at Juventus before. But with these owners, they're never going to hire outsiders. We know this, Nuruddin. So ultimately, do you know what it is? So I know why he's gone for someone like this. Right. So for those who don't understand how Man United actually work, we have a scouting network. The numbers always change from about 8 to 12 people. Some of them excellent, by the way. Some of them phenomenal, despite what some people say. Go follow me on Twitter. You'll see what I'm talking about. Some of them. I just found I was doing more research today, Nuruddin. So the head scout from Genk, when Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku came through, he's one of our scouts.
Okay.
Who knew? He didn't scout those guys, but he was the head of that structure. It was the youth scouts that found those two. So I'm not misrepresenting anything. I'm just saying, who knew the head scout from Genk when Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku came through works at Man United? We don't know these things. That's just what I'm saying when I always say to people, be careful when you just say fire everybody. You don't actually know who works there. So those scouts work alongside, well, not alongside, they feed the information into the data analyst team. Hold on, no, yeah, feed it into the data analyst team. That goes up to Steve Brown and our senior scouts. They assess it. And then that's when Ten Hag comes in and Murta come in and agree, boom, 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 these are the targets we want. So because Andy Boyle has done talent ID, is an analytical person, I don't even think it's a summer window thing for the number two. It's really during the season when Murta's probably working on the women's team, the infrastructure. Murta has to staff a lot of people in different departments. The Glazers don't just let him focus on first team football. That's not the role that they gave him for some reason. It's Man United, everything's bloated, of course. So there's going to be points where I think the way it was written in the Telegraph was about a third or 2/3 of Murta's schedule is now cleared because Boyle's come in. So he can focus on first team recruitment when he needs to, like this summer, start a Ten Hag's project. And because Oil's got the analytical mind, and this is the key part that I missed, what United are doing with the senior scouts, who are all analysts now, by the way. That's why Jim Lawler and Bout left, because they've never been analysts in that sense. So he wants that data science driven focus. So those senior scouts understand that process. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if they want to filter something to Andy Boyle, he's an analytical guy. He understands the way they speak. He understands the process, and that's basically,
of course,
that's basically how they want to operate. And if you don't like it, no issue. I mean, it's ridiculous. No, hold on. Let me just stand this point. If as a Man United fan, if you don't like this because you have a preference for, oh, sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. No, the point that I wanted to make, I just want to because I've got my notes now. Yeah. So just to break it down. Man UFC have appointed Andy Boyle, deputy director and ex-first team coach on the club at Liverpool. He arrives from Premier League, where he spent 5 years ahead of elite performance, advised clubs on talent ID, recruitment, and performance analysis. And that's what you're talking to. And just to go over his CV, because I was butchering it before, just to say he was at Man United as academy coach. Then he did a sports science on Runshaw College. He was first team coach at Wrexham, head of sports science at Coventry, under 21's performance coach for England, head of fitness and development at Liverpool, and a first team fitness coach. And then he was at the Premier League. So that's where we got him. It's really interesting, Danny, that him, especially the last bit, the elite head of performance, and also working for the FA. I'm sure Murta's also worked for the FA and the Premier League as well. So it's really interesting, that connection. Like, this is somebody that I'm sure Murta's been tracking. You know what I mean? He's been tracking to seeing what the work that he's been doing. And you know that in that world, everybody talks. You know, football is everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? We talk about old boys network. The sister just said before. So big up the people in the comments. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. We're going in a bit more deeper dive and having a rational conversation. Obviously, usually I come on here and run agendas against everybody's aligned with the Glazers, right? And that's what I do. That's my job. My job is to always let you know about how this club is run and the people there. But as I know personally as well, Danny, there are really good people at the job, at work, at this place, at Man United. There are really good people who love and care about the club, who have got the best intentions of the club, who want to bring the club back to the glory days. But it's about how their talents are being used. Because on here, we have to always give the context, right? I want to just a little bit talk about what Matt Judge and Woodward were doing. So we've got first-class, world-class scouts all around the world. We've got people who want to help people in different departments. And all of a sudden, for about a decade, those two men are like, nah. Woodward's like, I'm Florentino Perez. I know football. And Matt Judge's like, I'm the king of the transfers. Let's go. Like some comedy double, mate. Comedy act double. And that's what's happened. So now, people, I just want to give that context. Now, for the first time since Fergie's left, we've got people, because people forget Fergie was the director of football. Fergie was the general manager. If you want to have that reference in terms of basketball or American sports, but Fergie had people working for him. One of them was his brother. I know that one of his scouts was his brother. He had used all these other scouts as well, and some of them, unfortunately, would let them go. So for me, when I try to explain this to people, David Gull must have known something was coming. And for that time, the Glazers were placing Woodward in a power position in the club. Certain things happen in the football club where there's power struggles. There's always, in big organizations, there are power struggles. David Gill left with Fergie because he knew the Glazers were putting Woodward in place. Woodward ran the show and told everybody, there's only things that only we can do. And obviously, 10 years later, we're going to come on to the exodus that is happening with how many? 5 players that have left now, officially or unofficially. But anyway, so for the first time for me, Manchester United have a director of football. The position is made. It's been a year and a half old or a year and a bit old, but that position is made. And knowing that you talk to it, Danny, in terms of what Merton did with the youth and the women's team.
Yeah, no, the women's team, you know more than me, so I defer to you on that. With the youth team, so he staffed the youth team. This is when people ask, like, oh, why do you even respect Mutter a little bit? Well, it's simple. At youth level, there's no Glazer interference because it's a tiny bit of the budget. He could they let him change the staff as he wanted. So in 2016, in September, all the information came out, and by January, we basically took 3 people from Manchester City, just like that, 3 of them. Dave Harrison, Tomlinson, got these guys straight away because City at this moment in time were within the industry. These guys have the best youth recruitment at the moment. Murta went and snapped them up. People know Crystal Palace and all the Mandem coming through at South London. So what did John Murta do? Let me go get Stephen Adjawali. Stephen Adjawali was doing the youth recruitment from in the south for City. He went and got him. Then he went and got Jamal Jarrett, who is he has this academy, the Lambeth Tigers in South London. He went and grabbed that guy. So if a guy's operating, if they say, yo, go fix the academy, and he got Nick Cox as well as the academy manager, go check him out. The list of players he's worked with and managers is pretty impressive as well. So if he's got this common sense, he goes at youth levels, okay, who's the best scouts at the moment at youth level? These guys at Sea. Grab them. Who's doing the best recruitment in the south? Okay, this guy, Lambeth Tigers. This guy from City, grab him too. Oh, we've got this guy from Ajax, the Rat. He's the guy that recommended the Little Upamecano and all those guys, for those who don't know. It's a youth scout that recommended those players. If man does this at youth level, like, I don't know, 2 + 2 = 4 sometimes. It's clear he and Nuruddin as well, with the data science thing again. Fans don't really care about this thing, but City and Liverpool, in terms of you in data science and data analytics for their recruitment, they've been way ahead of us for years. Even and who's the guy that's been trying to bridge that gap behind the scenes? Yeah, Brentford as well, exactly. But so before he became sporting director of football, whatever the bloody title was, which doesn't even matter to me because it changes at different football clubs, he was doing that behind the scenes as well. So, because I'm aware of these things, and you know me, Nerden, I separate preference from let me look at the situation for what it is. Once I became aware of the guy, he's not a banker, he's a football person. What I hate him because he's seems to be the one intelligent person that the Glazers and Woodward trusted. That's immature. You're behaving like a child if you think that way. I have to be honest. I don't want to be rude, but John Murta's really done nothing other than the women's team, and then if you want to look at the hiring of Ralph Ragnick, maybe the signing of Ronaldo and Glazonomics, and Glazers come into that as well. Aside from those things, he's clearly competent. Do you get what I'm saying to you? He's clearly competent. So the fact he's picked Boyle, if he can pick the best at youth level, he can pick the best recruiters, right? That go and get the Garanchos, the Hannibals, blah blah blah. I think you can trust him to pick his number 2. You know what I mean, for what he needs. So I wouldn't stress about that. What was the second question? Forgive me, I was rambling there. What was the second part of the question? Don't remind me.
No, it's fine because you said about the women's. I'll go into the women's a little bit. So basically, Man United didn't have, for years and years, didn't have a women's team, yeah? And Man United were literally shamed into having a women's team. They were shamed into having a women's team. Just to give the timeline about Murta. Murta arrived with David Moyes. He arrived he was doing a developmental job. He was doing operations and development job at Everton, and he actually arrived with David Moyes. For me, my only victual against him as a person is that everybody's been there at that football club that came at that time and is synonymous with David Moyes, with Woodward taking charge. Obviously, preference-wise, for me, I'm always like, I want somebody who's got a track record, who's operated at the level of the first team level, who's got track record of recruitment, as track record. But obviously, people need to understand, and I always try to explain to people, right? We run on Glazonomics. In terms of our transfers, Matt Judge and Woodward were doing what they were doing, but above that is Glazonomics. Is at the heart of Man United recruitment, and in terms of shifting players out and bringing players in. How they obviously will go into it, where they see somebody as an asset, and that contract of that person is also the market value as well. That's how they judge things. But the women's, what he did was, I'll say it, Stoney Casey, she's an amazing football coach. She's one of the best women's coach. So he got her. So obviously United then started in championship in terms of women's football. Man United on the first season win the championship and come up to the Premier League. The recruitment for the women's team, A1. Like to go from the first season, right, to having a non-existent kind of, they used to be amateur. Man United used to have an amateur women's team, and they used to organize all their stuff. They would get little changes now and again from the club here and there, but it wasn't. This is where City are balling out, Arsenal are balling out, Chelsea are balling out, Everton, Liverpool. I mean, I went to uni with my friend. I went to uni, did sports studies with a friend of mine who used to play for Everton. Shout out Nick, right? So I'm like, what's going on at Man United? How come we don't have a women's team? So he came in, to be fair to him, got brilliant coach, right? Ex-England, I think she must have been England captain, Casey Stoney. She played for England, has got like some ridiculous caps for England. She became a coach, got her, recruited brilliantly. Within the first season, they jump out of that championship, promote, top, win, get to the Premier League, and they hold their own. Obviously, lockdown happens. And this is where I'm like, okay. And by this time, by the way, he's just a developmental and he's looking at operational as the football club. This is Murtaugh's job, operational and developmental. And he did that. And obviously, the lockdown happened. But as you know, the way our clubs run anyway, our youth team's done it and our women's team both play outside of Manchester in an area called Lee Sports Village. It's a Lee Sports Village. Lee's a little town outskirts of Manchester. And you can't even get transport to get there. That's how mad it is, how backward it is, right? So during lockdown, when Project Restart happens, the women's team changing out of like cabins, no proper bin sanitization, like bin sanitizer, anything like that. All the different things. They're sharing so many things because Carrington is basically divided because they have to abide by COVID rules. So that all of the men get all of the preference. So the men's team become the number one everybody focuses on. Everybody forgets about the women's team. All of a sudden, the only person I've seen in the last 10 years who got proper integrity was Stacey. You know what, Casey Stoney? She said nicely, she said she's not going to renew her contract. She's going to dip. She didn't just dip, bro. The biggest exodus out of the women's team, everybody leaves because everybody's like, look at the way we're treated. Look at the way we've been treated. Obviously, you can't put that on just Murtaugh because his bosses are the ones with the funds and everything else. But for me, I just feel as though that was really bad in terms of the women's team. They grew a fan base within a season or two. They're in the Premier League. They're doing it. They're being successful. Teams that have been well established well before them, they're giving it. You know what I mean? They're competing, and then that happens, and then boom, it's all cut. So that bit there. And I know that in life's more complex than that, isn't it? You're gonna get things right, and sometimes nobody's perfect at any job. You're gonna get things wrong. But at the end of the day, I always said I am the chairman, I am the CEO, I'm the co-founder of Wait and CFC. That's who I am, right? That's who I am. So I just watch and see. But I know really deep down, it's Richard Arnold that's running the shit. And the Glazers, Joe Glazer, Avram Glazer. These are the two people who make themselves available, who run the football show. So me, I'm an arsonist. I want the whole place done so we can get them out and bring in whatever. But
Nuruddin,
go ahead.
That starts with the Glazers. It doesn't start with a manager who you like now, so you leave him alone. No. So now it's Fletcher and Murtaugh. Cool, you get rid of them. They'll just find people. They'll promote Steve Brown.
Oh,
they'll promote Steve Brown.
Or Darren Fletcher.
I'm telling you, Nuruddin, if Murtaugh was to leave, they'd promote Steve Brown. You're not getting an outsider.
Why is that,
You want to
Danny?
burn the house
Explain
down,
that.
you have to start. You know what it is? You can't. You know what it is? You know when they said if you cut the head off the snake, two more will grow? You know that phrase from Captain America or whatever it was? It's been in a few different films, even Hellboy.
Yeah.
I don't know the methodology behind it. Even Hellboy had the same thing. The baddie in Hellboy had the same line. You kill him and then two more of them appear, whatever it is, yeah? Listen, you're cutting off the wrong head. Has to be the Glazers. It's not the people under them that keep changing. It has to be them. Do you get what I'm saying, Nuruddin? That's why I tell you, man. I use this analogy the other day. I was like, Nuruddin, yeah, he does drive-bys. Yeah, he just sprays up the whole block. Man, stop. Just be a sniper, man. Just take out the Glazers and just do it that way. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, that is definitely a black mark on his record. It was underfunded, that project, but I think they've turned that around. I'm not sure. You could tell me, but I think they're turning it around, are they not?
Yeah. So yeah, no, it has been. Yeah. So we've got a new coach in. He's done an amazing job. The recruitment then started again because there was a mass exodus of a lot of talented and players, especially American player. You know, couple of US internationals and a Canadian that were playing. And now I went to actually watch two of the most enjoyable games this season, Danny, at Old Trafford. One was the Youth Cup final and the semi-final. I went to the semi-final as well. And the other one was the women's game against Everton where we won 3-1. And they had a brilliant season, brilliant football, like everything that you want the men's team to be in terms of like hunting impacts, closing the ball bound, like setting traps. So the new coach, I'm more than happy with. And everybody who's following the women's team, who I know, I don't know if you know Natalie, sister called Natalie, who does the fan cams for the women's team. I've known her for years. She used to appear on the fan cams back in the day. She watches the men's and the women's, but she follows the women's around. They've got minibus, so they travel. She's part of their away fan base. And I always talk to her about what's going on in the women's. I try to go to any of the games that they put on at Old Trafford, but those two games this season has been brilliant. So that's been turned around, and I'm happy with that. But the reason why I am drive by with double barrel shotguns, yeah, is because just the disdain and the propaganda that comes out of the football club for us to be able to. Danny, in any walk of profession, I'm sure you run a company, you're a consultant, you are. When Woodward makes 2 mistakes, see you later. Woodward was allowed to make 4, 5, almost 8, 9 years in the job, like to stay there. So that's why my frustration is just like, get them all gone.
He made hundreds of mistakes. Listen, when people hear about the fax machine, you and I know the story, Northern. They think of De Gea. No, Haaland when he was 12 years old. That was the original. When he was 40. I can't remember how old he was, but that was the original Woodward fax machine mistake. That one there didn't get the time difference between England and Norway, so we miss out on Haaland as a kid. Guy was a clown.
We missed the phone call,
and
bro.
the fact that he gets away with. Yeah, and the fact that when people talk about Man United now, have you noticed nobody mentions him no more? No one mentions him. Like, you need to understand, we're trying to correct almost a decade of mistakes, not 1 year, not 3 years because the previous manager failed. No, 9 years of bad decisions from Ed Woodward. That's what Ten Hag has to deal with. And for me, you should be rooting for everybody who's not a Glazer and operating, trying to salvage the mess that they've left behind. You should be rooting for them. Rooting for them. I'm not saying Murtaugh is going to go and do A, B, C, or D. I just know he's competent. He's a football person. And to be honest with you, it can't be hard being better than Woodward. It can't be hard. Man was as incompetent as they come.
Yo, nobody that knows anything about football would be able to do better than Wood. You know the funniest thing, Dan. You know what irks me the most is when these journos, mainstream sports media, football media, go, but he was good at the commercial side. No, he weren't. No, he wasn't. It wasn't hard for Man United to get that much revenue. We were doing that under David Gill. We were doing that under Peter Kenyon. This myth that this needs to happen. No, he just wanted to max out. Him, Arnold, and Judge wanted to max everything out on Man United, squeeze every ounce. I mean, I broke it down on yesterday's channel. First of all, I want to welcome genuinely, like I said, Andy O'Boyle to Man United. He was only here for 7 months to begin with, but I welcome him, and I'm hoping that all the experience that he has gained out there, that's going to help us. To me, you know me, I'm always talking about Danny. I'm always talking about the fitness and conditioning. I'm always banging on about that. So what gives me a lot of hope is that even though that might not be his job, but he'll definitely assess that department and see the type of football that we want to play, which is front foot aggressive football, the fitness levels of our football club. I was joking with, I was running my agenda on a Twitter space saying, hey, he left Liverpool in 2017. That's when they started winning. That's when they started winning. But listen, we're going to move on to now, bro, the second part of the show, this Exodus. So they do it in bits, in it. So Pogba, Lingard, I did an hour and a half show, bro. You know me, I'm all about context, and I'm all about the timeline. I did an hour and a half show yesterday on Pogba and Lingard, just to tell people the timeline. I even went back, bro. I went back to the beef with the late Riola and Fergie, and Rio Ferdinand going to Pogba and saying Pogba signed a contract. Literally.
Did you correct the lie about Sir Alex Ferguson?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. Listen, I never
had an issue with Pogba. Never had an issue.
He did. You know what?
People
he did
promote that lie.
Exactly. And you know what the funniest thing was? Pogba knew other youth players had to always do it. You sign the contract first, then you get your playing time. But Riola obviously pushing on Pogba. Listen, don't sign any contract yet until you get the playing time, and that's what it was.
No, you know what's funny? This is the irony. Riola's the reason he left. He's also the reason he came back. Raiola, I don't know if you included this, because he got Pogba to sign an extension with Juve with a deal that he would leave. Raiola put a clause in there for himself. FIFA had to investigate the deal because it never happened in football before. I don't know how much he got exactly. Anywhere from about 20 to 40 million is the estimate, right? That's why the deal blew up to 90 million pounds. Without that extension, Pogba goes 40 to 50. And by the way, he goes to Madrid or Barcelona. Barcelona and Real Madrid, who did want him at the time, saw the 90 mil and was like, what? And we have to pay Raiola how much? Well, Juventus had to, not the buying club. But that's how he ended up back. So Raiola's the reason why he left and come back. It's just ironic. I found that funny.
Bro, I explained that. I explained the fact that Raiola made 40 million from the contract. And Woodward and Judge went along with it. Why? Because at that time, bro, we were about to sign, or we've just signed Adidas. You know that? I remember the Adidas? 10 years. 10 years, Adidas.
7. I think it was 7.
It was 7.
No, Chevrolet was 7. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Listen, do you know, Nuruddin, sorry to interrupt. Do you know what? You know me, I do my research. The Jose era, that was Raiola basically. This is what people need to understand about how Woodward operates. Bring it back to Woodward quickly before we get to the Exodus, Nuruddin, right? Go look at that first window. Go look at it. Who's the agent for those 3 big signings? Raiola. That's how Woodward operated. Yeah. Then he'll listen to the scout who says, go get this guy by from Villarreal. But like it's agent most of the time. I'll listen to the scout once. And then that scout will be listened to for another 2 windows. And then people tell me, you get what I'm saying to you? This is how Woodward moved. But that first summer, that was literally a Raiola summer for Jose Mourinho. Yeah, it was
Mkhitaryan, Zlatan, Pogba. Yep. That's what it was. The funny thing is that was the thing to say we're going to win. And the whole marketing campaign against that was Pep versus Jose. You know what I mean?
From La Liga here.
Yeah, from La Liga here. And that's how it was all programmed. Sky Sports getting overexcited. The battle.
Listen, I tell you what, though, that team on paper, listen, if they backed Jose that 3rd season, I don't know. But you know what it is? If you're looking at that team on paper, I do have to say, in terms of that's the only time under Woodward where I felt the quality of player control, talent level of player was actually good. Like Bailly's talented. Say what you want about Bailly, talented. Mkhitaryan, mental problems, but talented. Zlatan, we know. Pogba, we know. I can't think of a window where we got better talent than that, actually. Yeah. And we had to rely on an agent to do it. That sums up Man United right there.
Exactly. And then Woodward also, just for the record, Woodward also got rid of scouts that questioned him. Well, like, what are you doing? We can get some of these players on a young.
In 2016, that's when Langley left, isn't it? Yeah.
He sacked about 2 or 3, and one of them released that statement, innit? he listed the players that he told about Man United because he was a youth scout expert. He was a youth guy. He would go around watching European like youth tournaments, and he named all of the players. But it is what it is. But anyway, the exodus started. So it started with Pogba, Lingard. I paid homage to them both, I told the full story. You know what I mean? An hour and a half, and I told the full story because I'm not mainly a player FC kind of guy. You don't associate me with that. I'm mainly about the Glazers and the bankers and what's going on at the football club. But I broke it down. I went through the timeline. So I even took it to when at the youth team, watching Pogba getting excited about Raphael Morrison, Lingard, three of the most talented. Lingard going from Timbuktu to everywhere on loans. Then he comes back. And then he does what he does. But we will forever be grateful to Lingard for turning the Emirates into a dance floor, innit? That's what I would think. He didn't just Millie rock that. He went back to the 80s, man, and Jackson that, mate. Jackson that all over. So that to me, and obviously that volley in the FA Cup, to me, that's the trophy.
Oh,
That was the one I screamed. I was screaming when that one went in.
There was Everton, the other volley. He's got some volleys, man.
This is it. This is it.
Bangers, man.
This is it. So we pay homage, and obviously the other guy that I actually personally know, and I've known, he used to come into my
your boy Juan
Field, Juan Mata. That beautiful, that pass, I look at that, and I look at Di Maria and I think, what could have been, man, if he would have stayed as well? What a dickhead. Can you imagine? Put Mkhitaryan, Zlatan, Pogba.
It still wouldn't have worked, but we need to let Di Maria.
No, because it wouldn't work because Jose, innit? Jose runs.
We hate on Di Maria, but his experience here was horrible. That's why he talks about the club.
He's a granddad now in football. To see this goal yesterday, the speed he's still got against Italy yesterday.
He's quick with the ball. He always will be. One of those guys, quicker with the ball than without it.
You know what? And I'm telling people now, Argentina, danger this World Cup. For the first time in all of Messi's tenure as a player, as one of the GOATs, one of the greatest, for the first time now they've got a team that get what Messi wants to do and how Messi plays. And trust me, I'm putting it now and I'm letting it be known right now. Argentina, danger World Cup. Danger World Cup.
They always are. They always are. Question, Nogan, real quick. Did they announce Matic? Or was that the last one?
Yeah. I think Matic has already said goodbye anyway. He said.
I know he said goodbye. I was wondering if they announced it on. I guess he's already said goodbye.
Somebody let us know if they announced him. I've not seen anything, but I've seen Mata. So we'll go into Mata.
And I just got a notification. I don't know if they've announced Bailly. I just see something about Bailly, but I don't know.
Yeah. No. I don't think they announced Bailly yet. Okay. I don't think they announced Bailly yet. I think they're doing it in 2s and 1s anyway. Mata. So Mata said in an interview he gave to your friend Laurie Whitwell, he basically broke it down a little bit and he talked about it and he was massively like, you know what I mean? If you read between the lines, he didn't hold back, bro. He didn't hold back about the players, the types of players that Man United attract. He didn't hold back in any ways. But for me, Juan Mata is one of the biggest regrets. An absolute number 10, Chelsea Player of the Year in 2 seasons in a row, a Champions League winner, a Premier League double winner, comes to Man United, and
I'm not gonna lie. Matt is not. I'm gonna annoy people. Just in my experience, my lifetime, he's not Matter. The player he became by the time he came to Chelsea, and then came to us. Matt is not a Man United player, Nerden. You know what? Let's be honest. He's not. It's another Veron type signing. For some reason, like Man United's an institution. I don't know what it is. Dynamic football players just do better here. Other than Paul Scholes and Carrick, who was more dynamic than people appreciate. It's like Kagawa all over again. Kagawa was a talented boy.
But I don't actually think Kagawa was a failure. I just think he didn't get the many chances.
No. I actually think he got the chances. Brilliant. Yeah, no, listen, as a baller, beautiful football player, same with Mata. Listen, my journey with Mata started as somebody who used to like watching Valencia on Sky Sports, Revista La Liga. The kids don't know, Nerden. We know. We know when Sky Sports used to care about Spanish football. Every game was live. Much more Spanish football than Man United. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Valencia, all the games. People don't know this, Nerden. Mata, he was a winger and he was quick. Like Ryan Giggs quick as a teenager. I don't know what happened. By the time he come to the Premier League, that speed was gone. But he was rapid as a teenager, absolutely
I
rapid.
remember.
But he was still dynamic at Chelsea. But listen, I don't know, man. Players like that, just for whatever reason, they just don't do well here. You can even go back to Fergie's time, like I said. And by the way, no, Veron's first season actually was pretty good.
Champions League.
That's the best football that team's played. They've won bigger trophies and had more successful seasons. But in terms of football, Veron made them pay the extra pass. Mata was the same, but just, man. Just another guy who we just wasted.
But listen, before you know who the hell you're buying, know the player profile. But Man United, we don't.
If you buy Mata, you have to go pure. You have to go pure. You have to sign players who are just like him. Simple as that. I don't see us building a team and then just saying, slot Mata in here. Like that's not. It's not how it works, man.
You know what?
It's not how it works.
In the summer, we signed Fellaini, and then we got Mata.
Listen, people forget Herrera was supposed to be an attacking midfielder, man. Ends up being some CMDM. Don't even get me started. For Bielsa, he was an attacking player.
Bro, I was there at the stadium.
Yeah, when we got battered by Bilbao. Yeah.
Until this day, their fans. The only time I've ever seen on a footballing pitch completely from minute 1 till the last minute destroy Man United was Bilbao and their fans. I literally walked just from town, city centre, with their fans because they were just on a mad one singing, bro. I walked with them and I'm chatting to them because we waited for the tram, but it was taking ages. We just walked at O2 because they were just chanting, and I was just like, look at this energy. Just to remind people, Juan Mata got flown in a helicopter. January, helipad, landed. Woodward is moving like he's a showbiz man. Like, you know what I mean? That's what the movement was, people. I just want to get people...
People forget he used to be in front of the camera. He used to do interviews. He used to speak. Then he started... People forget Woodward was the director of football. We used to see him. We used to talk to him. He used to be there. Then he realised I'm shit at this. Then he started hiding. Like the coward he is, man. Actually locked up. Criminal.
He started letting people like Samuel Lucas run interference for him, run for cover for him.
But no, Mata, listen, beautiful. I like Mata just as Mata. But like, I try to
be
separate. Fair. I just look at... You know what it is? I just think about the guy I watched for Spain and the guy I watched for Valencia when he was a teenager with David Villa, with David Silva. Joaquin was in that team. So that's my memories of Mata. Man United Mata. Like, waste, man. We wasted.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I actually think his best season was the first year of Van Gaal. Because remember, Van Gaal didn't actually let him go. He look at the people Van Gaal let go. Van Persie, Chicharito, Welbeck, and there's a few others that I'm forgetting now. He let go.
Hernandez, Johnny Evans,
Yeah. But then he kept, and in terms of the attacking players, he kept Mata.
You know my favourite time? It was a small 2 to 3 month period under Louis van Gaal when he had Valencia, Mata and Herrera doing triangles down the right-hand side. Yeah. That's my favourite time with Mata at Man United, but it was only for 3 months. If he's not playing triangles, and it's not... Like Louis van Gaal's the only guy that did it, right? You three, down the right-hand side, you man play triangles and rotate. Yeah, and sometimes Mata would come off and he'd let Mata overload. That's the only time, because Louis van Gaal's the last proper coach that we had.
Actually, majority of times, you remember that time on Mata, he actually was more of an inverted, but more inside passer. Other than
listen, Mata's never played as a 10, and even when at Chelsea, he'd always end up wide. He's never ever just played as a pure. Even for Spain, obviously too much competition. At Valencia, David Silva was there. He's adapted throughout his whole career. He's never actually just played anywhere for a long period of time as a pure 10. It's just you need to have players like him. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, just another example, Man United wasting the talent.
In terms of technically gifted, I don't think anymore. I've never seen a player at Old Trafford in the last decade who can plug a ball out of the air like Mata.
Did you see? There was a video. I don't know if it was Sky Sports or MUTV or what it was, but it's beautiful. It's the first touch challenge. So the guy kicks the ball in the air. The presenter's looking at the camera, and he just puts his thumbs up and he just has the touch of Mata controlling it and says, "Never in doubt." Because like Mata's first touch from when the ball is he never miscontrols it ever. And it's just the sound. It's the perfect timing of the presenter just heard the touch. Basically, Matt killed the ball, and he just put his thumbs up. Didn't even look back because Matt is controlling that ball always.
I remember Matt at Chelsea versus Man United. Chelsea are on this crazy mad press. Somebody in defense whacks it out. Mata is on the right touchline. He's got a defender up his back. So this is the throwing line, yeah? The ball is in the air. He runs to there. Trust me, you ain't never gonna see in a tight spot against the touchline a ball control like that. People screamed. I heard like grown men, whoa! Something that they've never seen. So that's the levels of Juan Mata. Like you said.
I just think there's a 10 in the Prem though. When we didn't have the ball, man, just bypassed.
This is it. Man United
were never the issue.
You know what? He would have. You know, can you imagine if he went to Arsenal without before Özil?
Oh, if he went to Arsenal, listen. Then again, no, even Ozil suffered. No, not with the Sanchez team. Not even that.
The early Wenger team.
Nasri, Fabregas was still there. That area, that team, beautiful. Or if Liverpool didn't have Hicks and Gillette and Rafa Benitez actually got to do his plan, like you would have bought all those players from Valencia. That's what he was. I remember at the time, Liverpool fans really believed because Hicks and Gillette sold them a dream they were going to get David Villa, David Silva, and Juan Mata in one window. It ended up we just had to stick with Babel and cut.
Exactly. No, I remember seeing that David Silva, Valencia always used to play a friendly pre-season friendly for many years. They did it.
That is true. Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
and we turned down Silva. Sir Alex Ferguson and Jim Lawler. They didn't think he'd adapt to the Premier League physically. We could have had him.
It was the
can't win them all, man. Fergie can't win them all, man.
I absolutely. When I found that story out, I was going berserk because I remember Valencia, Man United preseason friendly before the Premier League kicked off. Silva did what things I was like, how is he doing this to us? And at the end of the day, he goes signs on Man City, and company's the same. Somebody actually got hold of the scribbled notes of the future plans. I think it was some plans in like November or December. Fergie with a team of the recruitment team scribbling names. Companies there. Names.
Wow.
But history is history. But I know him personally, actually. Beautiful human being. Very much into arts and culture. He would come in and we talk about cinema. He would talk to me about United, and I will never say things that now that he's left, I might reveal. But things that I can never have said while he was still at Man United, because he trusted me with these things, even knowing that I was on Bankham's and it's so funny. One time he told me, "You were too harsh, man. You were too harsh. You were too harsh on me." He said to me, he said, "What's the word? Harsh. You were too harsh." He's coming out the lift and he's like that with his fingers like that. I'm like, listen, I just don't like Jose football. I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys need to revolt. This is crimes against football. I can't take this. This is after the Sevilla game.
So you're the cancer in the dressing room. Now we know it's revealed. Exclusive. Nuruddin was the cancer Jose was talking about, not Pogba.
Bro, I'm telling you now, I have never been so upset. It's because, the biggest reason why. I don't mind a manager, trying to win a battle and force, But when he sits there, when he's our manager, and he literally tells me about Sevilla heritage, that's the night I knew. That's the night I knew it was war. Like, that's when I knew it was war. Because I knew then the club doesn't have the heart and soul to go in that press conference right there and then and go, "Jose, get out of this football club." So that, to me, is the only game in the history of the Champions League. Listen, Danny, listen. It's the only game in the history of the Champions League. I've been sneaking to that stadium since I was a kid, The only time in the history, and we've took beatings before. We've took beatings, But it's the only game I've ever walked out on. And guess what? That night, I had that perfect seats, bro. I can't lie to you. I was 7 or 8
by the dugout.
In the director's box,
Oh, okay.
the director's box and the bench. So I'm 7 rows from the director's box, 6 rows from the.
Yeah.
I'm in the perfect halfway line, Dan. That's why I'm right on halfway line. And you know what? I left. I was like, get me out of here,
You
bro.
might need to keep
Get
the
me
same
out.
energy. Listen, I don't like. That's why. Listen, see the way Jose was moving. That's why I have a certain energy towards Ralph. Like, listen, I don't like it. Listen, we can shit on our football club, but when someone else does it, like when a rival fan does it, when the media will misrepresent the story to shit on the club, I don't like it, and I never will. Even what Jose was doing there with the Sevilla thing. And you know what? He set them players up that day. You were there, Nuruddin. He let the handbrake off and let them play, but there was no structure. It's like, hold on a second. It's been low block for months, and this one game, you just let them attack. Of course they got cut open. You ain't been playing like this.
And then,
Set them up. Set
bro,
them up.
he's in front of me. And then when that didn't work, when he realized that wasn't working, he told Rojo just to hoof the ball to Fellaini. I counted.
I remember that game. I was like, hold on a second. Where's the low block? What is this?
No.
Oh, now they attack. And then now you told her, listen, don't get me started.
When they don't know what they're doing. When they don't know what they're doing. When they don't, that's when I was like, oh, I can't believe this. And anyway, but it's the way he even the way he talked about the youth team as well. Like when he took them to America, innit? Where my guy is twerking for Will I Am, and I'm just like, wow. But it's not even that. It's the way he finessed. I always tell the story. The way he finessed him and his agent, finesse Woodward, when Jose was saying, oh yeah, my son goes to Paris. He likes Paris. He watches beautiful football in Paris, and it's a beautiful city. And then 2 weeks later, oh, Jose signed a new contract for another 3 years. The way he finessed them.
But then we didn't back him in that summer anyway, Man United, ladies and gentlemen.
But this is the biggest thing. So they gave him a 3-year contract, but they didn't back him in the summer, and then they knew they let it roll on, and it was the like when I always talk about it, when people go, no, they sacked him because of Pogba and Martial. No, if you actually deke it out, it was Pogba and Martial that was saving him game after game. Where he's at. I remember the Newcastle game, 2-0 down. Martial and Pogba connecting again and again, making chances. I'm explaining to him, Sanchez is on the pitch. Martial has to come on to save Jose. It's like, no, the club already knew, but like everything else, they didn't want to sack him. They wanted to wait and sack him till then. And I remember a friend of mine, right, who works at the ground, does the sounds, saying to me, I saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the tunnel the other day. This is like a month and 2 months before, Danny. 2 months before Jose gets the sack.
Yeah, of course.
He tells me Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is down the tunnel saying hello to some of the groundsmen.
But that's how long we dragged it out for. That's when I knew when we lost to Liverpool this season with Ole, I was like, look, he's fired. They're just dragging it out.
Now they took him on holiday.
Next big loss.
They sent him on holiday. What manager ever gets sent on holiday for 2 weeks, go fishing?
Don't get me started, Nuruddin. Listen, even Ragnick took a holiday. No one talks about it.
No.
Let's move on.
But you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody was on holiday this season. If you looked at how many...
Ragnick. No. Nuruddin, the players came back. The MLS guys put on a session. Ragnick stayed on holiday. Listen, don't get me...
Listen, where was he? Barbados?
Yeah, Barbados. And he came back for the first sessions. He weren't even there. He just let the MLS boys run it. That guy, man, got good PR.
What was he watching cricket? Listen, let me say something. Listen, Ralph Ranić, for me, is the only person has constructively decimated and exposed everything I've been talking about. So for me, Ralph Ranić will always get exposed. Not that he did anything. He just told what was going on behind the scenes. And
he was a distraction, man. Listen, I'm not having it.
No, let me finish. Nope. I don't have that reach, yeah? I don't have that reach. Ralph Ranić has that reach. So for me, he will always get props from me.
Listen, I was going to run an agenda. I won't run the agenda. I'll allow it.
Listen, the last thing is, so apparently Matic is going. Matic said goodbye. They're going to announce that he's going to go. Because Mata was supposed to, apparently, because Mata on that interview with Athletic said that he's going to speak to Ten Hag. And Ten Hag told us, no, all the players, I'm going to send them a holiday. I'm not going to talk to them. Of course he spoke to Mata. Yeah. Because the club wanted to offer Mata a coaching role. Remember that, a coaching role. Yes. But he wants to play, obviously. He wants to play. So for me, from the bottom of my heart, as a friend, somebody who I know personally, used to come into my workplace, who I used to chat about United and chat films with, on that front, I'm sad that he's no longer here. But for the betterment of the football, Juan Mata, if Man United was serious football, once they realised they couldn't really find a position for him in the football pitch, he should have been gone. Like that.
But it's another one. Like, listen, Pogba should have left 2 seasons ago. Once he said he wants to leave, Lingard should have left. Mata should. All these guys should have left before.
Exactly.
And to the point about Ragnick, just to, well, I won't run the agenda in it. Let's just be serious. You know what it is with the like. We're gonna get. I don't think it's gonna be 9 to 10, but I think we're gonna get to 6 or 7. Northern. I think we're gonna get to 6 or 7. I think Henderson. We know Henderson wants to go. He's English. Somebody will take him. Phil Jones ain't going nowhere. Bailly, I think we might be able to get out. That would take us to 6, right? And then I know Pereira's technically already gone, but he's coming back. That's 7. Who else is going?
Lee Grant already left as well. So we got Lee Grant, Pogba. Now
Lee Grant don't count.
Yeah, he don't count. So listen, Mata, Pogba, Lingard.
Cavani.
Cavani. Yeah, Cavani.
So people act like close to 9 to 10 men are leaving. Now, if we can get rid of, imagine we actually did get rid of Phil Jones. I don't think it's going to happen though. But if we did, and then Martial, whether you want Martial to go or not is irrelevant. That's close to 9 to 10 players. But people are saying, oh, the club didn't agree with Ragnick's plan. It's like, what? No. I'm telling you, 6 men are leaving. I know that. We're going to get 6 men out. Whether we get 7, 8, 9, 10 is another matter, but we'll get close to it. So what Ragnick has said is going to happen. It's just not going to be the ones that we hate the most, the McFreds, the Maguires, the McTominays, because
who we actually like. Who we actually like.
Who he likes. We have to bench. Look, get rid of the deadwood. You get rid of Bailly and Phil Jones. You buy a centre back. Then Maguire and Lindelof become Phil Jones and Bailly, and the centre back plays with around. Yeah, that's just how we do it. It's just the signings have to be right. All the first 11 signings, if they all hit, man get benched, and in the next summer, then man are gone. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you know what? A lot of people are like DMing me with this Sky Sports sensational stuff. What's the? I always forget it. What's the sister called that? Who's got the job now? Who's got the job that Cooper used to have? You know, Cooper. The guy used to be.
James Cooper was pretty good, man. Reliable.
Yeah. But
listen, people like him leaving over the last sort of 15 years is why Sky Sports understands doesn't mean anything anymore, Nuruddin. When we were kids, Nuruddin, when you saw that ticker go yellow and it said Sky Sports News understands, that was more certified than Fabrizio Romano 3 years ago, because he's not certified no more. But that Sky Sports ticker was certi for all top Premier League teams. It's because of people like James Cooper and the equivalents that covered they had the connections. They came up with the old boys network at the clubs when they were still a bit more, it weren't the hyperdized Premier League that we have now. I'm not sure. Is it Melissa Reddy? Is her name? Is that
that's it?
I'm not sure.
That's it.
So hold on. She covers Man United. Ain't she a Liverpool fan?
She covers Man United now.
But ain't she a Liverpool fan? This is what Pep's talking about. Pep has a point.
Listen, you know what? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Pep is almost 15 years too late, bro. I said that 15 years ago. I was telling everybody. I was like, listen, logically, it makes sense. People now who are in editorial control on football media in this country.
Well, Liverpool fans because they were winning when they were kids. Yeah. Listen, I'm not complaining. I've got a good football education. Respectfully, you man have to watch the United stand to get your education. I was watching Alan Hansen. I got my education from Alan Hansen and those guys. That's who raised me. Guys today, they just moan at to be fair, the pundits on TV. They're there for entertainment, let's be honest. So it's like, all you see on Twitter, people moaning about Rio, they moan about Carragher, they moan about Gary Neville, they moan about this guy. All they do is they moan about Martin Tyler. All I see on Twitter is people moaning. In our era, we appreciated it. Alan Hansen was brilliant on Match of the Day. Brilliant. John Watson, we appreciated. We actually liked our commentators and the guys on TV. We liked
even though I remember
even Andy Gray and Richard Keys, believe it or not, they were entertaining. But you knew they were there for entertainment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and except for what they were doing behind. Of
course.
But you see how Murdoch team set.
But it was separate. We knew Hansen. If you wanted to learn about football, watch Match of the Day. Alan Hansen break it down. If you just wanted some banter, Keys, Redknapp, and them man, that's what they were there for. Do you know? The
only time the veil dropped Yeah, the only time the veil dropped with Henson is when he got his bias getting a hold of him with a class of '92, and he was like, "You don't win the league with kids." And
He was
broke
right
it
though.
down.
We didn't.
Yeah, he was right. He was right in the text.
That's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
right. But the biggest thing is this, yeah. But the biggest thing he didn't understand the balance, the finely tuned balance of Fergie introducing one at a time, and the way how you had these absolute captains. You had like 5, 6 captains, 7 captains on the football pitch with the youngsters, and how that went on. But it was funny. I'll never forget that. But to me, he was. By the way, those of you who don't know, played for Liverpool. One of the greatest centre halves in British football, hands down. Before you think about Rio, think about Alan Hansen. I don't think anybody else, unless we're not 60s generation. We're not the 50s generation. We're not the 40s generation. But I remember seeing Alan Hansen, highlights of Alan Hansen, and seeing him ball out and see the calm, the composure, that little turn. You know, that little turn. He just
he wasn't the Souness of the team. Yeah.
He used to just dip inside.
Souness was there kicking people. Hansen wasn't. Hansen can actually play.
I'm talking about the way he carried the ball. He used to just dip inside people and then hit that left foot pass, hit that right foot pass, man. Listen, Alan Hansen was a baller of a centre half. Like he could have played for Brazil. I personally think if he wasn't Scottish, Brazil, Germany, West Germany, like Argentina, that level of technical ability was unbelievable. So big up Alan Hansen. He don't do that thing anymore. Big up Rachel in the comments, man.
Big up Rachel.
Big up Rachel, man. Dissertation. How's the dissertation going? Listen, Danny. In terms of ins, obviously now is that kind of football that has been played. Timber's coming. Timber's not. De Jong is off. De Jong is on. This game's that been played. But let's talk about. Obviously, me and you talk about it in the spaces how actually Man United have become incredibly secretive in the actual details. We know preferably. I mean, you know what? When you talked about journalists, yeah, I know James Ducker has been covering Man United for a long, long time, right?
But he's got ahead now, though. He's now the team. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
Of course. but you know what? It's because you got the likes of Romanos who are just building a YouTube.
No, I'm saying even compared to the Mittens and Ornsteins and the Whitwells, Ducker seems to be the. To be fair, though, he's covered literally that article. It had like 10% new information. Which I haven't discussed, by the way. Maybe we'll discuss that up another day. But whole on the low, Norriton, sorry to bring this back up. You know they fired the 2 chief scouts. You know they just replaced them, and no one's talking about it.
Of course.
It's Simon Wells. Simon Wells, who used to be our analyst, who became Ollie's personal scout, which was strange. And then this guy Mayorga, they're now the senior scouts for midcourt. We'll save that conversation for another day.
You know, the other mad thing is that for me, one of his articles he talks about, and he basically says, playing remit is one of the things. It's how to deliver it. Ten Hag is how to deliver it. Core principles are like transfer criteria. How can they outrun? How can they outplay? Can they outfight? So this is the 3 principles. Apparently, he must have got a little leakage from the actual notes that were taken in these meetings with Ten Hag.
That's a briefing. It's not a leak. It's a brief.
Yeah, it's a brief. But to be fair, Ten Hag also said it in a press conference. Anyway, he said it. But so the big thing about the remit on how we are going to play is, can they outrun? Can they outplay? Can they outfight? And these are the areas. But the main targets, right? He doesn't mention any names, obviously. He talks about the main targets: midfield priority, potential gap, Sancho, potential like growth, basically. I mean, Sancho, Rashford, captaincy issues, and Ghana, and then loans. So that's what he was talking about, Ghana and loans. So it's going to be very interesting. But I'm just saying, if it means that Man United are secretive and go back to being operating like a football club and only releasing information they want to release, and I just want to let people know, Woodward had hired Neil Ashton to be his leaker. Before that, he had 1 or 2 journalists, one of them being Samuel Luckhurst, who then, when he got announced he was leaving, ran an article saying, Ed Woodward left the club better than he found him. Like, let's not even talk about that. And then you know what? Now, did you see that? Have you seen our brothers' run-ins with Luckhurst?
No, but I made Luckhurst mute once. It was over a Lingard story as well.
Say that again?
I made him mute once. He had to mute his Twitter for a day just because caught him out on something. But
Yo,
yeah,
he
no,
muted me
listen.
quick, bro. He muted me quicker than
Give
anybody
me one
I
second.
know.
Give me 1 sec. My bad.
Yo, big up everybody. I'm just went a bit silent because Danny's gone. But I'm looking at those of you who are interested in a bit of Twitter drama. I want you to check out what Samuel Racist Lockers is saying about Harry Pinero. And Harry Pinero is calling him an influencer. Harry Pinero he wears many caps. He does interviews. He is a
Nerd, and so sorry, my bro. I need to dip, little ones.
No problem.
Quick prediction, though. Can I make a quick prediction before I go? Man United will get 3 signings before pre-season. And then that's when you're going to start seeing trouble because we can't get rid of a Phil Jones, maybe a Bay, maybe a Martial. We make some moves, that's when the 4th man come in. But if we don't get rid of all them man, then we won't. I don't think it will get towards the end of the window before we get up to 5 players.
You know what? The only way you do that is to do what we did with Sanchez. Loan them out, and then finally
but the loans, we know those wages come back. That's why it's going to be tricky. Because think about it. De Jong, let's say we get De Jong and Neves, that's Pogba, Matic, and Mata's wages with those 2 players. Because De Jong's on 350. He's not taking the pay cut to come to Man United. So, do you get what I'm saying to you? We know Glazer not expecting anybody in Northern. So, we'll get those 3 players in, then you'll see some Glazer-nomics. Players have to go out the door, blah, blah, blah. I think we'll get 4 players in the end. But quality players, that's what I think will happen.
I agree with you. The only thing I think most people are thinking 6 or 7. I think 4 or 5 at the most. At the most optimistic 4 players we're going to sign this summer. I agree with you. Danny, listen, I agree with you, man. People, please let people know where they can find you, Danny. Please let people know.
Find me on Twitter. Listen, come into Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Spaces.
You'll catch me cooking, Nuruddin. Can't live with me. Can't handle me. But no, appreciate you having me on at
Find
me on Twitter running agendas. But yeah, I need to dip. Thank you, Nerdin, man. Love,
brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. For people, check Danny out, Devil in the Detail on Twitter. Big up to Therapy Army. Just to say, Samuel Lucas is getting into it and is getting all of like black football Twitter against him because he's running his agendas as usual, chatting shit about Paul Pogba. Listen, don't have an agenda. Paul Pogba has part to blame about the way he was at Man United. The club and everybody else also had a bit to blame. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. But when a journalist who writes for the Rag now that what used to be a really credible newspaper back in the day, the Evening News, now it's just an advertising page online. When he's running madness on Twitter, getting at people, it just shows it, innit? So big up my brother Harry Pinero, man. Big up Harry. Cook him, bro. Cook him. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Danny, man. Danny is somebody who's well researched. He does a lot of research. We get into it. He also runs his agendas. I run my agendas. Watch his Glazers out. Watch his also Glazers out, by the way. It's the same agendas, but he looks into these details about our football and club and what's going on about our football club. So hopefully I'll invite him around more to go and do a bit more deep dive about what's happening at Man United. But big up to every one of you in the comments. Sorry, we've had a conversation and I'm not been interacting. So big up everybody, like Logan, big up Alicia, big up Pat, big up Ray, big up Super Nick, big up Shamir, Ray, Susie82. Big up everybody, man. And please go and check out the breakdown of that video that I did about Lingard and Pogba. It's worth your watch, people. Trust me. I was on heat last night, man. Trust me. My blood was boiling. I wasn't on heat like old school, old heat way. I'm talking about my blood was boiling because I just saw like Pogba FC. You know what I mean? He was shit FC. He was great FC. And I was like, nah, I'm not having that. We got to tell you. You're going to tell a story. Tell the full story. I hope that you got a bit of an insight. And those of you were asking me last night about to do a video on O'Boyle, Andy O'Boyle. I hope you get a little bit. So just to summarize, just to who he is, just to summarize, I will just go into it and just let you guys know. He is a guy who's about talent ID, who analyzes recruitment and was working for the Premier League advising football clubs. So he will have knowledge on younger players. But he's also a fitness and sports science lecturer at times as well, parts of his career. He was at Wrexham, Coventry. He was at United, went to teach in a college, Wrexham, Coventry, went to the FA, went to Liverpool for 5 years, and spent another couple of years, 3 or something years at Liverpool, then spent another couple of years, 5 years at the Premier League elite performance. And so he's here now. So we wish him luck. We wish Andy luck. Good luck with the bankers. Good luck with the Glazers, pal. Let's see if you can do your job to the best of your ability. Because we know, like managers, like scouts, the Glazers and the bankers always tie their arms behind their back. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. Yeah, big up, man. Yeah, it's the famous devil in the details, man. Big up, man. Big up to all of you, man. You have a bad feeling. Get rid of Murta. Have a bad feeling. Big up, Tenno. Big up to every one of you in the chat, man. Sorry that we didn't get to interact tonight, and I wanted to have a conversation with Danny. But we'll bring more videos, man. Big up. Big up. You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything, Rachel. We just talked about what we talked about. Sorry, I didn't even check WhatsApp to see if you wanted to come on. Yeah. But big up, man. Big up. Big up, big up, big up, everybody. Love and light, respect to you all. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care, people. Before we leave, Glazers out, bankers out. Please smash a like on the video on your way out. I beg you. That's all you can do. Smash a like on the video on your way out. At one point, there was so many of you here. So big up to Gaz Elliott. Big up everybody, man. Big up King B. Big up Rachel. Phil Jones out. Nah, listen, I don't wish Phil Jones anything. I don't know him personally. I just know that Phil Jones in 2019 got 4-year contract. And in the 4 years, in the last 3 years, he's played 6 games. So in the last 3 years, Phil Jones played 6 games, Premier League games for Man United. Go figure, people, go figure. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Glazers out, bankers out, and we always say, people, Glazers out, bankers out. That's my only agenda. That's Therapy Army agenda. Hopefully, we're on our way to correcting a lot of the mistakes we made. But to me, the only thing I'm expecting, guys, the only thing I'm expecting is that within 2-3 months, the football style will change on the Ten Hag. The football style should change on the Ten Hag. Love. Glazers out, bankers out. Good night, people. Take care. Please smash a like on the video. It's the least you can do. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Peace.